Daniel. Okay? Let's read on.
Verse 7. But I would have seen the region or place whereout the hill was graven, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were so afraid, and yet durst fight.
So it says those that were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet durst to fight. So even though they were afraid of this man coming from the sea, they still wanted to fight against this particular man. Okay, go ahead.
And lo, as he saw the violence of the multitude that came, he neither lift up his hand, nor held sword, nor any instrument of war. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire.
So it says he sent out of his mouth as it had been a blast of fire. We're going to get the understanding of what that's talking about. Okay, go ahead.
And out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempests. And they were all mixed together, the blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest, and fell with violence upon the multitude, which was prepared to fight, and burnt them up every one, so that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude nothing was to be perceived, but only dust and smell of smoke. When I saw this, I was afraid. Afterwards saw I the same man come down from the mountain, and call unto him another peaceable multitude.
So it says, after this man came from the mountain, he called unto himself another peaceable multitude. We're going to get the understanding of this peaceable multitude that was gathered unto this man after he came down from the mountain. Go ahead.
Verse 13. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry, some of them were bound, and other some brought of them that were offered. Then was I sick through great fear, and I awaked and said, Thou hast showed thy servant wonders from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. Show me now yet the interpretation of this dream.
So initially Ezra did not have the understanding of this dreams. Can everyone hear me clearly, Con? I'm getting word that the audio is not that good. Okay, Brother Judah said that it's clear. I'm going to try to turn it up a little bit to make sure that everyone can hear. Okay? Okay. So now, initially Ezra did not have the understanding. We're in the book of 2nd Ezra chapter 13, verse 15. So initially Ezra did not have the interpretation or the understanding as to what the angel was showing him. Okay? So now he's asking to receive the interpretation of this dream or the understanding of this dream. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 16. For as I conceived in my understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days.
So it says, woe unto them that shall be left in those days. Go ahead.
And much more woe unto them that are not left behind.
So it says, much more woe unto them that are not left behind. So now if you want to understand the truth about the left behind doctrine, okay, you got to go into the book of 2nd Ezra, the 13th chapter, okay, because in the Christian church, they talk about being left behind, okay. They got the videos talking about being left behind, the novel series about being left behind. The question is, what does it mean for those, or what does it symbolize for those that are left behind? Okay? It says, woe unto them that woe unto them that should be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. Now, according to the left behind doctrine, I thought it was a curse to be left behind on the earth, going to the parents. But the Bible in 2nd Ezra states that it's more woe for those who are not left behind. The question is why? He's going to show you. Go ahead.
Verse 17. For they that were not left were in heaviness.
So it says they that were not left were in heaviness. Go ahead.
Now understand, the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them, and to those that are left behind.
So now it's going to be the interpretation of what's going to happen to those that will be left behind. Okay? Now it's going to tell you that it's going to be perils for these people and tribulation for those that are left behind. But it's going to go on to show you that, as we just read, as a matter of fact, as we just read, it says, much more woe unto them that are not left behind, which means it's more trouble for you who are not left behind than for those who are left behind. Okay? To show you that the left behind doctrine is backwards. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 18. Now I understand the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind.
What?
Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities.
So it says these people will come into great perils and necessities. Okay? Things on the earth will start drying up, resources, food, water, and all these things will start to dry up. These are the things that will befall them that are left behind. Okay? So it's going to be difficult, it's going to be hard, there's going to be many trials and tribulations. What?
Therefore are they come into great perils and many necessities, like as these dreams declare.
Verse 20, go ahead.
Yes, is it easier for them that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world.
Read that again.
Yet it is easier for them that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world.
No, Christ is going to come before the second coming, after the 7-year tribulation, and he's going to rapture everyone up into the heaven.
Then to
Or
pass
before the 7-year, before the 7-year tribulation, Christ is going to come and rapture everyone into the heaven. Go ahead.
Yet is it easier for them that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world.
No, Christ is going to rapture you before you come into danger.
Yet is it easier for them that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world.
I don't mean to make this a lesson about left behind, but according to the Bible it states, yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things. So for those who are in the earth, it is easier for you to go through these particular perils and necessities that it's talking about than for you to pass out of the world as a cloud. I'll read it again. Yet it is easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world. Now, throwing the left behind doctrine, before everything happens, a cloud is going to come and pick you up and take you before the 7-year tribulation. The Bible states that it's more easier for you that are on earth to come into danger than to be raptured or taken into heaven and pass away as a cloud. Okay, go ahead.
And not to see the things that happen in the last days.
Not to see the things in the last days. So it's much easier for you to go through the danger and go through the perils and go through the necessities than to be raptured into heaven, taken in the cloud, and tucked away. Okay? That's what the Bible is explaining. Okay? And not to see the things that happen in the last days. Okay? So if you're here on earth, then you're going to see those things that happen in the last days. Go ahead.
And he answered unto me and said, the interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required, whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind. This is the interpretation.
Give the interpretation of those who are left behind. Go ahead.
Verse 23. He that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself.
So those who shall endure the peril have kept themselves. Okay, which means they kept themselves clean. They kept themselves under the ordinances of the Most High. Go ahead.
They that be fallen into danger are such as have works and faith towards the Almighty.
And it says, those that have fallen into danger are such as have works and faith toward the Almighty. Now I thought if you came into danger according to the rapture doctrine that you're cursed. Okay? I thought all those who had faith in the Most High were going to be raptured. And all those who didn't believe in the Most High and had no faith are going to be left on the earth, and they're going to be left to go through the 7-year tribulation. That's what they tell you according to the rapture doctrine. But the Bible states that they who have faith in the Most High will go through the perils, they will endure through the perils, and they will go through much danger. Okay? Go ahead.
Verse 24. Notice therefore that they which